conservatives turned on Trump, Alex Jones crying, Candace Owens, gotta admit, I gave her a heart. I cannot believe this is happening. I am in agreement with Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and yes, Megyn Kelly. All right, here it is.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Yeah, we are.
Good grief. That was no bueno, guys. That was no bueno. Okay, President Trump had the same problem there that Caroline Leavitt had yesterday. The dodge should not be obvious.
What is most compelling to me, by the way, about the Trump filibuster is that it requires us to be so gaslit that we completely forget that nobody made more of a show of the Jeffrey Epstein files and the release of those files than the person sitting to the right of him, Pam Bondi. That's why we're here. Pam Bondi was the one who notoriously handed out binders to a bunch of online influencers on February 27th.
These things always come across and then they just disappear. And it's very frustrating for the American people.
Epstein.
Yeah, I mean, I just said Epstein. It's like, where did this guy go? Where did that whole case go? Where did all the files go? They just went nowhere? No one even believes that.
So now by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. Because I have integrity.
That's right. Alex Jones and the Middle Earth people have integrity. All right, man. Put it up for me. I just can't believe this is happening. Now, for Democrats, usually we're able to really make a contrast point from these individuals. However, their higher selves have arrived. And it took the Epstein thing to get it there. To Democrats, please, for the love of all things sacred, don't talk about nothing else but this to MAGA. Nothing else. Don't say anything about money. Don't say anything about healthcare. Talk about this. Why? Because this is what they care about. We found it. We didn't find it, they did. Actually, Trump found it for us. Please stay on this to MAGA. Whatever you got to do. This is your winner here. I know it's not the most buttoned up topic. And it's rooted in the conspiracy theory, but hell, even we knew something wasn't right about the Epstein story, right? Stay there. So conservative media figures have voiced their anger. They are all in unison. Roseanne Barr says, Mr. President, yes, we still care about Epstein. Is there a time to not care about child sex trafficking? Read the damn room. Read the room. That's why he's there. Alex, he's not all of a sudden part of the cover-up. Do you really think he just got this and said, I'm going to be part of a cover-up? Maybe he was part of something else prior to him being part of the presidential aspect of the cover-up. You ever thought of that? You really think Trump is protecting somebody? When has Trump protected anybody but his damn self? And yeah, we can go down conspiracy lane here about intelligence agencies and foreign government, but we know the character of Trump is not one of integrity. Whatever his reason is not righteous. So it's not just public figures who are turning on Trump because of this.
I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm going to tell you this right now. If this is the verdict, there's no Epstein client list, then all of us that have installed Bongino and Kash Patel, the whole Trump administration, period, All they talked about was transparency. If we don't get accountability for the thousands of victims that were abused, who knows what type of crimes we're talking, then I'm jumping ship. And all of you should as well.
We're not buying what you're selling. We watched the FBI pull out all these things from Epstein Island. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison right now for trafficking, okay? And the connections with her family to the Mossad needs to be talked about. We have questions.
This is all going in the trash. I do not support Trump anymore. He's a liar. He's a part of the deep state. I do not support Israel. I will not be supporting him anymore. He's part of the deep state.
Fascinating, is it not? Trump been lying. As a matter of fact, it's hard for me to figure out when he has told the truth. But it took this type of delineation from a proclamation made on a campaign trail to the reality of presentation from the Trump administration. Trump basically told them folks, Epstein who? We still talking about him? Why? Let's move on. There's nothing there. There's literally, according to Trump, there's literally less evidence now than prior to Trump being president in reference to Epstein. Like at one point, there was a client list according to the Attorney General. At this point, that doesn't even exist. Hell, at some point, maybe even Epstein really didn't exist. It was all a cover or something. So Flashpoint is a Sunday night memo from the Department of Justice, which concluded that Epstein died by suicide and confirmed there was no, quote, client list, even though the AG said there was and passed out fake binders saying it was, of powerful figures to be exposed for violating underage girls. This conclusion came as a shock to conspiracy theorists who had long believed Trump would deliver a long-promised justice and transparency on the matter. We know this is bogus. Hell, Epstein got some kind of sweetheart deal when he was arrested, charged in Florida for doing the same thing. The prosecutor at that time said he had never received such a phone call in his life to let something like this go. Went on record about it. Guess who he worked for? Trump won. Some of the loudest voices fueling those expectations are now members of the Trump administration, including Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. All three have been regulars on Fox News. Bongino, even as a host, during a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, Bondi made headlines by walking back previous comments made on Fox News in which she claimed the, quote, client list was sitting on her desk. She clarified that she had meant that the case files were available for review. Yes. That's a big mess up, Attorney General. And went on to shift her story, saying the thousands of videos in evidence weren't recordings of abuse, but merely child stuff that Epstein downloaded. Really, nobody said this until now. It is interesting. So let's get this straight. The most unqualified human beings to ever hold those positions happen to also have one other thing in common. They were hardcore, release the Epstein file. And they had credibility within the MAGA movement. So their qualification seems to potentially be the fact that they all had this particular brand connected to this case. And then in unison, all of a sudden, they are saying the same chorus. Just something to think about. So, QAnon, they're back. QAnon influence, wing of the MAGA movement, has been furious. You see, these individuals are true believers. Are they authentically wrong? Yes, but they happen to be authentic in their wrongness. So the QAnon influenced part of MAGA has been furious over the lack of transparency and the shifting explanations. Frustration was palpable, though measured, in this surprising Fox News segment, which delivered uncharacteristically harsh criticism of the Trump administration. Coming from such loyalists, the rebuke marked a significant pivot. Quote, President Trump and his AG hoped that they had put an end to the Epstein story, end quote. Ingram said after airing clips of Bondi, Patel, and Trump discussing the case and what she described as an inconsistent manner. Here it is.
There's a moment where you had some hesitation about Epstein, releasing some of the documents on Epstein. Why the hesitation?
I don't think I'm not involved. I never went to his island, fortunately. But a lot of people did.
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but he released the names, right?
And I've said it, Dan Bongino said it, we've reviewed all the information and the American public is going to get as much as we can release. He killed himself. Do you think, let's play out the logical conclusion of this. Do you think that myself, Bongino, and others would participate in hiding information about Epstein's grotesque activities? Or do you think we would also participate in not prosecuting people we had evidence to prosecute people on? Where's the videotape of an Epstein Island of X, Y, and Z committing these frauds? Why haven't you given it to us? Do you really think I wouldn't give that to you if it existed?
I think that anyone who works for Donald Trump lacks integrity, and Trump knows that. I think that you all are twisting yourselves like a pretzel to not consider things like this.
So how do you know this?
Footage from 1992 found in the NBC archives shows the future president welcoming Jeffrey Epstein to his Mar-a-Lago estate. The get-together more than a decade before Epstein pleaded guilty to prostitution charges in Florida. Both men are seen enjoying themselves, Trump pointing out women dancing in front of them. An apparently friendly encounter with a man the president is now looking to distance himself from.
He was quoted in 2002 saying in New York Magazine, "I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side," which is just creepy in so many different ways.
There you have it. Your decision to make. All right, Elliot, thoughts, dear brother?
I have to say there's a lot of dark stuff going on in the world right now, both here and abroad. But if you were to ask me to list out the funniest things this administration has ever done, it would not be a long list, but this would definitely be on it. I do think that if you spend a lot of years courting a particularly conspiratorial group of people, you have to continue playing that game. Otherwise, it's going to bite you in the end. And I think this is not going as well as maybe they thought it would. And also, I'm fascinated by conspiracy theories. I'm fascinated by the sincere belief in them that a growing number of people tend to have. And one particular quality about conspiracy theories is that they always have some element of unfalsifiability. So if you imagine the UFOs, then it could always be in some bunker somewhere that no one knows about yet. So there's always the carrot in front of the stick that you can kind of keep walking toward. Going out and saying, no, this didn't exist. It has never existed. And also saying, why are you still asking about it, is probably the worst thing you could possibly say to a group of people. I also think that there is something wrong. There is something conspiratorial going on here. And I think it is okay to call that out, especially because it's one of the few things right now that people on both sides of the political aisle can be like, yeah, there's something really weird about this.
Yeah, very well said. We'll bring you updates as they develop, guaranteed to do so. Once again, Democrats, don't blow this one.